Dr. Stuart Brown, I know that Perdue has kind of taken a lead in reducing its antibiotic usage and recently removed antibiotics from all of its hatcheries, not just for its raised without antibiotic or organic programs. When you've discontinued the use of these antibiotics, at the hatchery, what effect have you seen on the performance of your birds in the field?
So 12 years ago, we started to say, look, here's these 12 or these 4 areas. How about we tackle each of them without hurting the chickens and without hurting the food safety component to the whole scheme of things, which meant in our mind we had to go slow, learn what it took to reduce and remove through the process, and as you mentioned, we hit a significant point in the program this last year when we took the last hatchery off any antibiotic use at all. Now, we'd been staging through the hatcheries over the years, learning stuff every time, and you asked specifically, what did we learn? We learned that you must bring clean eggs into a hatchery if you're expecting the hatchery not to use antibiotics when they poke a hole in the egg. Well, clean eggs, so the hatchery manager had to be able to say, I'm looking at these eggs that you, the breeder manager, have sent me, and I can't run my hatchery with these eggs, I'm not taking them. Or I'm going to take these eggs, having said that, you are on probation with me as a supplier of eggs. I can't run my hatchery like I need it to run with this egg quality, and he has to be supported by the rest of the company. We also knew that we had to clean hatcheries better. We had to kind of step up the overall sanitation and the way that we judged hatcheries in general. We had to use a stricter approach as it related to personnel and procedures as we went through the hatchery process. So there was a lot to learn in the hatchery. We also spent a lot of time in the processing area as it related to airborne bacteria, potentially airborne bacteria, and things associated with that. So the hatchery, of all those 4 things I mentioned, I believe the hatchery piece was the most significant thing to work through, really, to get through. And I would say this, as it relates to kind of performance or the ultimate kind of, did you struggle? Sometimes we struggled, but in the end, all that cleaning, all that sanitation had side benefits, positive side benefits, as it relates to chick quality after it's all said and done. We have hatcheries running as good a 7-day as anybody in the United States, and they are no antibiotic hatcheries, but it doesn't come without pretty significant learning curve. Every hatchery had a kind of new thing to learn, it seemed like, and wasn't without the ups and downs as we went through the 12-year process.
The first thing is that everybody has a different understanding of what antibiotic-free really means. The second thing is, if one's going to implement any form of antibiotic-free program, the program has to suit the situation. So if you look at Europe and the UK, it's very driven by return on investment in capital cost. So performance-driven type of system. Downtime is very short, and we've got processes that can reduce downtime, like cleanout. When you deal with a US situation, it's very driven by marginal cost, and predominantly feed cost. So the focus is very different. And so a solution that you provide has to fit that system. And then probably, I think the most significant lesson is that mechanical compliance at the level of the grower is probably, or the production system, be it a hatchery or a grower or a laying farm or a broiler farm, the mechanical compliance component is particularly difficult because it's a very big change for these people to implement systems that are A, a foreign concept, and B, obviously require a lot more input than the traditional type of growth system.